Hey, so one of my favorite topics that I think is just fascinating that we don't know a whole lot about in the world of psychedelics is why some people become psychologically addicted to them. So I'm sure you probably know by now that psychedelics are not physically addictive substances in the same way that, say, opiates are, opioids, cocaine, amphetamines, things like that. Psychedelics do not have that physically addictive property because they generally don't work on the dopamine system in the same way. But there are a certain kind of subsection of people who use psychedelics who end up, whether for a time or ongoingly, becoming psychologically addicted to them. And I thought that this would be a really fun topic to talk about today with you guys and do a bit of just an exploration, offering a few of the ideas that I've been learning. It's a what if. It's not, I'm not saying this is so because I don't think we really have any strong data on it, but I thought it would be worth sharing with you guys. So let's go ahead and get into it. So as I've recently mentioned on the channel, I've been going through lately and kind of deepening my knowledge of understanding how to work with trauma and how to support people who come from backgrounds of trauma. And there's a bunch of reasons for this. First and foremost is that I want to really have a robust skill set around this for people who are coming to me for work, whether it's, for coaching work, for transformational work and healing work, which often involves trauma, whether it's for, being sat and supported or guided through a medicine journey, because traumatic events can come up, traumatic memories can come up. And it's just really pretty imperative to be highly skilled at working with trauma. So I've been going back through it, acquainting myself with old things that I've learned, kind of getting up to speed with new learnings, and going deep with kind of the two different pieces of trauma work. One side of that, at least in what I'm studying, is somatic therapy and working with the body and the body's intelligence. The other side of that, though, is attachment theory. And if you're not familiar with attachment theory, essentially it is a pretty well-studied theory about how our early nervous system connection system comes onto line. So from ages 0 to 3, our brain and our nervous system is developing a sense of self that involves relational self, right? So attachment, connection to others. And so this is really deeply at the heart of a lot of trauma work. It's really, really, really important to understand attachment and attachment dynamics and what secure attachment is if you're going to be doing any sort of trauma work, whether it's on yourself or supporting other people. So why am I bringing this up if we're talking about psychological addiction to psychedelics, right? Hopefully by now you're starting to put two and two together. But here's the thing that I've been noticing. So I myself, when I was younger, went through a period of kind of psychological addiction. I was pretty fascinated with psychedelics. There was a period of time where I was doing them very frequently and really just putting on the miles, logging the hours, taking a lot of it, and just loved being in that state almost more than I loved being in my sober day-to-day state. And I'm sure a lot of you can relate to this because psychedelics can be such a vivid, powerful, transportive experience that can be wild and beautiful and amazing. And there's also a deep somatic body bliss, ecstasy experience that comes with that. That can be really compelling. Let's be honest. It's much more vivid and fulfilling in a lot of ways, in the same way that other super stimuli are, like video games, like like intense, like movies, 3D movies, things like that, right? So I get it. On one hand, I get it. But here's what I'm starting to see. What I notice a lot with people who are kind of psychologically addicted to psychedelics is that they rely on the psychedelic, like I was just describing, to feel alive, to feel more connected, maybe to the cosmos, maybe to their own selves or their own truth, to feel more connected to their community, to feel more connected to whatever hobbies or things they like to do on psychedelics. Earth, nature, the elements, what have you. People often use psychedelics to feel more connected, right? This is a huge part of why we take psychedelics. And to be fair, I don't want to stigmatize that. I think in general, that's part of the healing power of psychedelics. And, within reason can be a really healthy thing. But what happens if we are deficient in our sense of connection because we had some sort of attachment wounding, which a lot of us do, and we struggle to feel either connected to ourselves connected to our own higher function, connected spiritually to life, connected to possibility or optimism or novelty or joy or play. We struggle to feel connected to our bodies, connected to other people. And then we take the medicine and we start to have those feelings, right? What I think might be happening here is that for a lot of people who are psychologically addicted, there is a fulfilling of what's missing in our, kind of distorted or unhealed attachment issues that psychedelics can meet. And this is in a different way from, say, like an opiate addiction, where people, maybe what they need is to feel safe and secure, and opioids provide that kind of sense of security and safety and comfort. But it's not too different. It's different, but it's not too different. If you're someone who maybe is in a bit of a freeze state and needs to feel more vivid and alive, I could see where addiction to LSD or DMT would kind of give you that sense of aliveness, right? If you're someone who needs to feel connected to innocence or your own healthy inner child, or the sense of spiritual wonder and magic in the world, again, I can see where psychedelics could provide that, and that could somehow be addictive. So kind of the question I'm posing here, the what if, because again, I don't think we have really good data on this. I don't think we really know why people become psychologically addicted, but we do know that insecure attachment is largely correlated with all kinds of addiction issues, whether including, food addiction and pornography addiction and everything, right? We know that unhealed attachment wounds correlate with addiction. So my what if here is, what if for some people, psychedelics provide some of that missing quality, let's say, that that person who has, whatever the attachment wound might be, is kind of missing out on or needing or wanting at an unconscious level or at a conscious level. So I don't think there's a lot we can say about this definitively, but this is kind of what I've been sitting with. And to me, it makes a lot of sense, I have to admit. It makes sense that for someone who needs wonder or excitement or joy or play or lightheartedness or spiritual connection to their own body in a more deep, vivid way, that psychedelics could end up becoming something that's compelling enough that they keep returning to them over and over. Unfortunately, often it seems like a lot of people who become psychologically addicted to psychedelics also happen to be young, and their brains tend to be developing. They tend to be in that under 25 crowd who, a lot of times they don't know why they're compelled, or that their desire to be compelled might be part of something that's deficient that needs to be corrected in terms of like more real healing work. But that's just what I've observed. I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of exceptions to the rule here, but I thought I'd just kind of throw this out, share it with you, just kind of share my what if, and see what you guys think about it. So consider this a thought experiment, a bit of a what if, a little bit of an observation based on my own experience, having gone through a little bit of that and seen a bunch of other people go through it. I do think that, insecure attachment strongly correlates with this, and I think that there's probably something here between the two. So let me know what you think. I'd love to know. All right. Thanks for watching. Take care. Talk to you guys soon.